If they make the playoffs, you'll kiss my feet. We already did that last year.
I will do it again. Okay? If they make the playoffs, I will kiss your feet.
Okay.
Part 2. Okay?
Neither of us want this. I don't know. Like, even the homies are like, no, we don't want to see that again.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? I will not be kissing any feet this year. That's not going to happen, all right? It's what the happened Wednesday. It's a.k.a. Treasure Hunters. We're going to hit it all. We're going to tell you everything you need to know. Ahmed Fareed is here.
Yep.
He has a gross purple energy drink with him today. He's got a big day today. He's got Premier League TV talk later on today.
I do.
Maybe that should be the bet.
What?
Maybe the bet should be like if that team, I think we were talking about the Steelers again, which maybe we need to find a new team because it's not going to happen, okay?
No.
It's not happening.
We don't want it to happen.
Maybe that should be the bet. I have to drink one of your shitty energy drinks.
Oh, like chug it.
I guess. Chug it. Will
Let's
I
do
die with all the chemicals in that thing?
We'll find out. You won't die. I'm still alive.
You're still alive?
So far.
Do you chug them, though?
I don't chug them. I've never chugged them. That's a good call.
Yeah.
If you chug it, it might be the end. No, we should do that. We'll pick a team.
Okay.
All right, let's do that next week. We'll pick a team.
Right.
Kissing feet is out because when I brought that up, I immediately regretted it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't
want
that.
It's one of those things
you don't want
funny.
that.
Right.
No one wants to see it out there.
No. I don't know. They might want to see me kiss like your especially like your foot like bare. They might want to see that. No. It's kind of gross. I'm sure you got a little hair on your feet too.
No. See, we're not. See, this is why we're going to the energy drink.
We're going to the energy drink?
Yeah, we're going to the energy drink right here. No one even wants to think that. You just made people picture that, and so it's bad. It's
okay.
bad.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
We apologize for that.
Does the hair on your feet have grazed like your...
Let's start it again. James back there today. Let's just start the podcast again.
Wait. But what if I won something and we had to make you do something? What would that be?
I know.
I feel like it's the homies would want to hear you swear. Like if there was some team that I said is gonna make the playoffs, and you're like, no way.
Yes.
And you're like, I'll swear.
I feel like we made a similar bet like this before. I forget what it was.
Well, we talked about making this a thing. We need to do it. Okay.
Okay. Next pod, we'll solidify these bets. And Pete says maybe there's a charity element involved. And Pete also says maybe there's a T-shirt involved too.
No,
so
not.
There's
Liar. That's where I draw the
works.
line. Lying. And I mean, really. When's the last time you actually swore?
I do.
I
don't want it to seem like I don't swear.
Okay.
I do swear.
I don't really hear you say it.
I've sworn in this building. I don't do it very often,
Yeah.
but I haven't on air ever in my life.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to pretend
I
like
haven't
I'm
heard you
I'm
ever
not.
say it in life in general.
Very rare. It's
Right.
very rare.
What's the word you usually go with? Shit?
I'll do an S or an F.
You're
every
you'll
once
throw
in a
the
while.
F out there too?
I'll throw an F out there.
S and F? Sunday night shit and
Imagine that.
by
Imagine
Ahmed Fareed?
Imagine if that was the first time I ever did it, like doing a football night in America, just for some crazy reason. I let
That'd
it
be
drop.
the one you actually might get fired. As much as they love you here, you might
be
get
the
fired.
bad
on
one.
that
I do
one.
it one time, get fired. All right, so we got a lot to get to here. You wouldn't know it by the amount of time we just
Not
spent
us.
talking about all that. Chiefs and Bills, but this is treasure hunters. We look for things that maybe we didn't see the first time. You look deeper. We're looking for hidden treasures, things that surprise us, things that didn't appear to us or weren't obvious when we watched the game on Sunday, but now we're smarter for seeing it. Chiefs, Bills, we got Falcons, 49ers, Jets, Packers, Patriots, Browns, Ravens, Giants, and more. We're going to look at some stats and seeing which stats are lying to us and which ones are telling us the truth.
Ooh, I like you.
We got the Big Butt Awards. We have the Peter Punt Awards. All that coming up. So we got a lot here. Yeah.
Okay.
Fill up your coffee because it's going to be
Here we go.
This is going to be a long one.
Take a drink of your energy drink.
And I will once you start talking. All right, let's get into our first one here, the game of the week.
Yeah.
What else can we learn from this game? And what else did we learn from this game? I think we should start with the defensive side.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of those games where it's like you got Superman, you got looking at another Superman, or Spider-Man pointing at the other Spider-Man.
Right.
And so who better to figure out a way to stop the other team than the other team? It's like if you have Josh Allen, you might know how to stop a Josh Allen type or a Patrick Mahomes type and vice versa. So defensively, and what these two teams have figured out, because it wasn't the 45-45 game that I think some people thought maybe we could see.
Right.
Here. The defenses held their own. How did they do that? What was their game plan? And how did they hold Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen to lower than 30 points?
Well, I mean, you could say what you want, right? I mean, the game plans, I think, were right on both sides of the ball. They might not have been perfect. There might have been a play call here or there where you go, well, why would you call that in this situation? But something like I said to you before the pod. I mean, the Bills had 17 points with a minute and 40 seconds left in the game. If that's not a good defensive performance, then I don't know what is. He's the toughest quarterback to stop in football right now. So there was a lot of positives on both sides of the ball. And it's something I brought up last week a little bit, and I can't remember if I said it on the pod or if I said it on the matchup pod with Floria, but I just said, that wouldn't shock me with these two defensive minds who are creative. And, of course, these teams have seen each other a lot over the last few years where they might have some tricks for the other one and go, wait, we know what they like to do in this situation or in this formation, and we can, devise a defense off of that. I think here's the biggest thing. If I had to make a theme overall, right, and we'll talk about the quarterbacks and how awesome they are and all that, is that it was almost like a role reversal as far as the defenses were concerned as compared to the last 4 matchups before this, where in years past, it was the Bills who had to make up for deficiencies in the matchup. And, like you've heard me say a number of times this year, Matt Milano at the line of scrimmage, Trey Edmonds at the line of scrimmage. We're disguising this so hard, and then we're going to drop off and do this just because if we just play normal defense, we're not good enough to beat you, and you're going to just pick us apart and have all day. And that team that used to be able to just go, we're going to kind of play safe and normal defense, used to be Kansas City in this matchup. And it was Buffalo who had to do all the creative, crazy shit and kind of compromise themselves a little bit. This was the first time in this matchup where I watched it and I went, oh, this is the other way around. There was one team that could not just sit back and play normal, or they would have got absolutely torched and they would have lost the game and we would have had a 45-point showing. And then there was the other team in the Bills with now their new defense and what they have, where they got to do what Kansas City's done the last 2 years and go, we don't need to do anything crazy. We're just going to be smart and sound, and we can get after the quarterback with 4, and we're just going to make you be patient and do all that. So I think that would be my big overall theme. And the cool thing about it is the game didn't start that way on either side of the ball. It's like they both started opposite of how they wanted to do, right? The Bills started the game kind of like, I was like, whoa, they're kind of playing aggressive and man-to-man, and they're like in their face. And then after like the first drive or two, it was like, okay, we were just kidding. We don't really want to do that. And then the Chiefs, on the other hand, the first few drives were like, oh, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to play cover 2 against you guys, and we're going to take away the big play. But then it was like all of a sudden in the middle of drive 3, they realized, like, that ain't going to work. Buffalo's going to run all over us, and he's patient, and he'll throw it underneath. And they were like, okay, let's go to, let's hit the red button here and go to the real game plan. And that's where they started to do, blitzes and be creative that way. And I think they had to when it was all said and done. So that would be the overall thing there. And I don't know where you want to start, Bills O, Chiefs D, or the other side there.
Let's start Bills D. Because they won this game ultimately. Yeah. And you noted in your notes that this might be the first time that you have seen the Bills do this specific thing against anybody, or just against Patrick Mahomes?
Well, you're talking about the end of the half there, or the end of the game?
Second half.
Oh, second half, yes. The 3-man rush. The 3-man rush quarterback spy.
How rare is this?
Well, I don't really see the Bills really ever do it.
Yes.
I don't. And I'd have to go back and watch maybe film against, they might have done it once or twice against the Ravens, if I remember correctly, and they got burned by it, actually. But
just because it gives the quarterback too much time?
It gives the quarterback too much time. Sometimes when it's a 3-man rush and it is a guy like Lamar Jackson, just the gaps are too big. So it's like he makes one guy miss, and you have a spy, but he's one-on-one with Lamar Jackson, and there's 40 yards of space. Like, Lamar's going to win, as awesome as Matt Milano is. Mahomes, we know, great runner, slippery, but he wants to move within the pocket behind the line of scrimmage and make throws. And it was the end of the third quarter. That's when I first saw it. And yes, they got to a 3-man rush when they got them in some obvious passing situations. And really, I got to think they stole this from the Bengals in the AFC Championship game last year, where 3-man rush, different coverages behind it each time, and having a guy, more times than not, they had Von Miller take the inside rush as the left end, if you're looking at the defense, the right to the offense, and kind of come inside and make an inside pass rush to then flush Mahomes out, like on the last interception of the game. And now he thinks, oh, wait, I'm going to get outside the pocket. I got all day here. And no, Bills are like, no, we got Matt Milano. He is waiting for Von to make this move so then he could kind of fill in and pressure you to, oh, gosh, I got to make the throw now. I thought I was going to have all day here. And that was definitely an interesting wrinkle that was nowhere to be found really in the first 3 quarters until I think it was like the last drive of the third quarter and then sprinkled in, like I said, in some of those obvious pass situations.
That's interesting. All right, so let's take a look at, James, I think we have a graphic on the Bills and when they blitzed and when they did not blitz and how Patrick Mahomes handled that in this game, because I want to identify what they did with the blitz because it worked against Patrick Mahomes. And a lot of times you've said against Patrick Mahomes, against Josh Allen, don't blitz.
Right.
You know, they're gonna be able to find the open man. Just keep the guys in coverage because they're gonna be able to be slippery enough, elusive enough to get away from the blitz. But you can see here when Patrick Mahomes was blitzed by the Bills, he was 3 of 9, just 26 yards, no touchdowns.
Yeah.
It was effective.
It was effective. Wasn't much. It was tactical. It was just a, hey, we haven't done it in a while. I don't want them to get in the total rhythm of what we're doing. And you know, let's bring this guy off. Let's bring the nickel guy off the edge. Or, okay, let's shoot the backer through a gap here. But it was not the overall theme of the game. It was just, again, let's find a moment every now and then to break a tendency. Okay, now's the moment. We haven't pressured in 8, 10 plays. Let's do it now. And, yeah, so they were more coverage throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And as they always do, they're tactical, they're smart, Leslie Frazier and McDermott, and they just found their moments where they felt like, okay, we got a good feel for what they like to do in this moment here. Now let's bring it and see if we can't force the issue a little bit.
Because you know that they don't have to blitz to get pressure.
They
don't
not
have to do it against the Chiefs, at least in this game. And
9 times it was the whole game? Is that what I saw there?
9 times the whole game. Nine
and I was going to say it was like 2 or 3 in the whole first half, which is definitely a different, approach for them as compared to years past.
Chiefs offensive line, problems there?
Well, not problems. I'm not worried about the Chiefs offensive line as much as I just think the Bills D-line's real. I do. Again, Chiefs, I don't think it was their best game, but I didn't come away just going, oh, man, this guy just getting killed or abused. I just kind of away as a unit altogether going, this Buffalo crew is real. When they got Ed Oliver in there, along with Vaughn and Rousseau, I mean, they can do whatever they want, and they always have fresh bodies there. If there's a weak link to the Chiefs, it is their right side of their offensive line. But, that was the big thing too, is, they couldn't run the ball on that group either. In years past too, they've been able to rely on, oh, you're going to play all this cover 2 and do all this, and they would sprinkle in the run and be quite effective. That wasn't a real thing in this football game.
Almost at all.
So that was, and I think they realized that pretty early. They were like, oh, we're not going to be able to move this group. Especially when it's Phillips, Ed Oliver, Rousseau, and Von Miller, or whoever else. But Von Miller, again, for the second week in a row, really, or not the second week in a row, for really a bunch of weeks in a row. But this game, the Rams game, his ability to win one-on-one pass rush moves in moments at the end of the game when teams have to throw the football, it's showing, damn, was that a good signing. I mean, he still looks phenomenal. And really played a really good game. But, for like I said, I just want to hit on this. A lot of 2-shell the whole game for the most part. We saw the 9 blitzes out of how many, attempts overall. And then, it's great disguises. And one of the new in vogue things in the NFL is disguise and get to Tampa 2 in some really unique ways. They're very good at that. And then they sprinkled in, hey, wait, it looks like it's going to be Tampa 2. Oh, no, it's 2-man. Oh, we might do Tampa 2 again, and then it'd be quarter, half. So different versions of the 2-shell, too, to where Reed and Bieniemy can't just go, oh, it's Tampa 2. It's a Tampa 2 game. Let's go to those plays on our play sheet. And that's where, again, the sprinkling of that, an occasional blitz. Oh, wait, now we're at the end of the game, 3-man pressure. That was just enough to get them over the edge and give the Chiefs problems throughout the day.
You were impressed with how they played some man-to-man early here, and you were impressed with Kair Elam, too, with the interception. He popped.
That was a huge play. I mean, again, Mahomes threw 2 interceptions. The last one certainly on him. The first one, he was doing Mahomes things. He threw a perfect ball. He did. And the ball was going to be right in Valdez-Scantling. I think that was Valdez-Scantling's hands. I mean, it wasn't his hands. His hands were up in the air in the catching position, and the ball was going to go right in there. But Elam, who had somebody underneath, and I can't remember exactly who, it was Sky Moore. I wrote it in my notes. Good thing I wrote that. He was kind of on Sky Moore, and Mahomes sees that. And then as he's getting ready to throw, Elam, of course, I think can see his eyes and his body language. He's not going to throw to my guy. He's going to try to throw to somebody behind it, and he fell off. And he made a great play. He's a bigger corner. And, of course, that was a huge part in the game because they had a chance after the Bills had just gone down and squandered their little pitch play, McKenzie fumble, to jump up 7-0 and kind of get early control of the football game.
Yeah, on the flip side, you noted that the Chiefs were not afraid to let their corners be in some tough man-to-man situations in this game. They had some trust with those guys.
They
and
did.
You said for the most part, they had a pretty good game against Josh Allen. Held them down to 17 points until the final minute of the game. So let's flip it over to the other side here. You've already told us that you learned about the Chiefs' defense. They have to be a little more active.
Yeah.
They have to try to do. They're just not. They can't just play base. Against Josh Allen.
Not against.
Here.
Again, the Bills are different this year, Ahmed. They're on both sides of the ball. Bills can protect the ball better a little this year. We've hit on, Aaron Cromer is their new offensive line coach. Their running plays are a little more creative and what do I want to say? Sound or right where you go, ooh, that's the run play you want to run against that defensive front, right? Right? They don't run a play and just go, well, we called it, and damn, they got in that front, and it's not the best, but we just run it anyways, right? They ran plays going like, oh, okay, well, you're in this alignment. We're gonna, have a little trap block inside, and it's gonna be a huge hole. So they have that aspect. And the Chiefs came out trying to play two shell, but it was just too easy. Allen is, of course, smart. The offense is good. And their O-line is now capable of blocking the Kansas City Chiefs. And that to me was pretty apparent that, like, they're going to have to do something different. They can't just go, we're going to play too deep, because they were going to die a slow death, and he was going to end up being like, 38 of 45 for 450 yards if they just sat there and played coverage like they've done years and years past in this matchup.
And you noted there was a late 4th and 3 where they confused Josh Allen, and so some of this stuff was working. Let's take a look at the graphic on how the blitz worked against Josh Allen. Similar thing that we did with Patrick Mahomes. So he was 20 of 24 when not blitzed. So that speaks to your point of they needed to do something.
They had to. They could not
out.
sit back. He was going to carve them apart.
So he was 7 of 16 when he was blitzed. So that's better if you're the Chiefs. But he did have 2 touchdowns also against the blitz.
I know. That's again,
pick your poison.
Pick your poison. Exactly right. And that's where I'm not going to sit here and fault the defensive game plan. Again, it was 17 points with, he threw the touchdown with 1 minute and 4 seconds left in the game. So, they had to do this. This was out of necessity. This wasn't one where, me, I don't always like the over blitz team.
Yep.
But this is one where I go, they had to. They had no choice. Yeah, he got burned, with the Davis throw and the Diggs throw. But also within that, okay. It was the perfect throw. It wasn't like it was like, how could you do this and leave this guy one-on-one with Stephon Diggs? This is insane. How stupid are they? It was just his 3 touchdown passes were like they're unstoppable. The guy they didn't even have to put up their hands. If they just opened up their pocket, it was going to fall in there. It came back to bite him in the butt. And if there was going to be one I was going to be picky on, it would be the Gabe Davis 34-yard pass, because if I remember correctly, that was like a 3rd and 10 situation, maybe.
Was that end of the first half?
That was
a huge drive.
That was
in
a
the
huge
game.
drive.
You noted that.
It was the end of the first
third
half.
and 12, end of the first half from the 1-yard line.
Exactly. And there was a number of marquee plays on that drive, let alone the 3rd down in cut he hit to get off the goal line. That really, was probably the play of the game as far as that's concerned there. But yeah, that was maybe the only one I questioned a little bit, was that one right before the half, just because, hey, time's ticking here. It's running out. Let them kick the field goal. It's a win. A field goal is a win. And it was like they went and were like, hey, all right. And let me say this too. We saw the stats. He was 7 of 16. I want to preface this too. He's 7 of 16. It caught the Bills by surprise. the blitzes and stuff. The reason they went a few drives without not doing anything is they were like, oh shit, we weren't quite ready for them to do all of this stuff. It took them a little while to adjust, and the blitzes were, what I like to. It was cool ones too. It wasn't obvious. It was blitz 2, drop 1. So it was 5-man pressures, and then they would change up the coverages behind it. But yeah, I guess to that point, that's the only one I question throughout the game.
Yeah,
is just that one there. And,
well,
and
they were kind of ready
down
for
a distance, but I can't sit there and figure it out.
They were kind of ready for it too, and I think you noted it was in that drive that they had 7 blockers for the 7 rushers at times.
It was. And that was the other thing that bothered me about the play, where I wanted to be like, man, don't they have like a check out of it? Like, oh, wait, they're in a formation. They were clearly waiting for the pressure. It was 2 backs in the backfield. They had stepped up. They were going to sort it out. And they did, of course, sort it out. And that left Gabe Davis one-on-one. And like I said, he threw the perfect pass. But, yeah, there was a number of unbelievable plays and throws on that drive. The one coming out of the end zone, like I said, the in-cut, a 3rd and 12. He moves and then kind of stops and then pulls up and throws the ball there. And then a few plays later, they're playing cover 2, not blitzing, and he hits Stephon Diggs on one of his amazing cover 2 hole shots that really, it's like him, Mahomes, and Justin Herbert, and like that's about it. They can make those type of throws. He makes that throw, and then a few plays later, there was that, and that was just that was a key moment of the football game.
Scored there, and then scored the first possession of the second half, I think, and so and then they were off and running, but still had to come back and score late. A special tip of the cap to the offensive line. You said they were able to run the ball early, and a tip of the cap to the center, Mitch Morse. You liked him on tape.
I've loved Mitch Morse. Anybody that knows or has listened to the podcast, even before I got NBC, he's one of the most underrated old linemen in football. He really is. Jason Kelsey's always the guy that we always talk about with, center. Mitch Morse has had a career it's not that far off from Kelsey. He's the same type of guy, maybe not quite as athletic as Kelsey, but damn is he athletic. He's a phenomenal football player. He really is. And some of those run plays that he ran, let alone, his ability to pass block and reasons you don't hear Chris Jones's name a whole lot in the football game and stuff, it's because he's damn good. Yeah. And they can do some intricate stuff of like I was kind of telling you, right guard block down. Now he pulls around real quick and gets up to the weak side linebacker. Those are things that not a lot of centers in football can do to his level. And that does give them another advantage or wrinkle in their offense.
So you've seen this tape now. They've seen the tape. What do you anticipate the next time they play, them taking away from this game? Both teams, offense, defense.
I wouldn't be surprised the next game, if they match up, nothing will be taken away. Next game will be a shootout. Next game will be 45-40 or 38-34.
Why?
Because they're not going to get caught by surprise by any of this. This is one now where it'll go into, okay, both offenses got curveballs a little bit in the game that they had not seen in the 5 previous matchups. And now they'll add this to their repertoire of how we beat the team. And that's kind of how I envision it, really. Huh. Yeah, if you made me call the next matchup, I think it's like a 38-35 type of football game. Totally different than
AFC
this one.
Championship game,
right.
80 points.
Right. Yeah, it could be because the Bills will be ready and go, oh, you want to blitz? So you thought those throws I threw to Gabe Davis and Diggs were good? Watch out for this. Look at this play we got for you.
Yeah.
And, I think Mahomes and company will have something for the 3-man rush and, have a little bit more like, wow, okay, their D-line's better than we thought. And we got to have some more zone coverage type of plays in our repertoire as we get after them.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because it's like this game was going to happen. It wasn't going to affect who we thought. They're both playoff teams. We think they're both going to get to the AFC Championship games.
Right.
Again, they're probably favored to do that right now.
They're definitely both top 3 teams in football.
But what's going to be different about that game? What did they learn? Home field advantage could be huge, so that's why it was important that the Bills got this win. Right. But it's probably more important how each team adjusts the next time they play each other, which probably will be the playoffs, we would think, at the end of this year. All right, cool. So we thought the 49ers were going to be maybe a playoff team. They still could be.
Yeah.
Got a ton of injuries right now.
A ton.
You wanted to take a closer look at their game with the Atlanta Falcons. What was the main reason you wanted to take a closer look at this game? What did you want to find out?
Well, I wanted to give some respect to the Falcons.
Okay, you wanted to see if it was real.
Wanted to see what's real. Wanted to give a little bit closer look of just going, like, how are they getting it done? You know, I've watched them on film in some other games, but not, like, as closely as I did in this one.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to check that out. And then, you know, of course, anytime I see the Shanahan offense stymied in the run game, I'm always like, ooh, what did that team do?
Yep.
Or what was it? And I think that was the biggest reason that I wanted to go back and watch that one.
All right, so let's start with Falcons good. Let's start with the positive here because we have the offensive ranks this year for the Atlanta Falcons, and they actually are very good. We always got to look at the competition because stats can lie. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But rushing attempts per game, they're second in the NFL, so they want to commit to the run, but they've been very good at it. Rushing yards per game, they're third. Yards per rush, they're still top 10 there. Third down conversions, they're able to do that in the top 5. Red zone converting into touchdowns, they're in the top 5. They're 5th there. So this offense has been able to do it.
They
against
maximize.
The competition. So
they maximize.
All right, and we noted the injuries for the 49ers, right? Of course. Right?
I mean, a lot.
They got a lot. I mean, Bosa, and you got Mosley who's been out, and Ward who's out, and then you got, who else was out? Armstead was out.
Right.
They're on some second stringers in some key spots.
I believe it was 9 out of the 11 defensive starters.
So that's huge. I mean, Warner's still in there, Greenlaw's still in there. So those are, but that's huge. But I don't want to take anything away from the Falcons because they've done this multiple times now. And so you looked at it. You looked at this game. How did they do it? What were they able to do that made life so hard on the 49ers?
Well, they're the most patient run team in football. You know, again, with all those stats and the things we're trying to compliment them on, they're still the 23rd ranked offense in football, right? So when you look at it that way, you just go, well, wait, how are they doing this? But then you start to realize, you know, one, they're unbelievable. Arthur Smith is an unbelievable game manager. And a little bit like we've talked about with the Giants and some other teams, they know who they are. So they don't try to go like, wait, I want to run this play because I like this play. He's crossed those off the list and go, but I love this play, but not with this team. We're not good at that, you know? So where they get you is incredible patience. They got a big, powerful offensive line. And then what they do to kind of break plays open, or maybe even like you run for three, is Mariota's ability to keep the ball off of that, right? And then they always have a few quarterback design runs for him too, that really just stress you out and put you in some tough situations. So there you are getting bludgeoned for 3, bludgeoned for 4, bludgeoned for 3. And then, okay, let me cram it in there more and cram it in there more as a defense. And then he keeps it around the edge for a 20-yard gain. And then you're going, well, they were averaging 3 yards per run, but damn it. Now he went around the corner for a 25-yard run, and the average is better than what, you know, it should be. Mm-hmm. And then they get you into a position where it's like, okay, shit, let's put another guy in the box. And then they go, well, Drake London's man-to-man outside. Well, just throw a slant. Okay, I'm 13 for 13 on high percentage throws. So they really just stick to that mold. And he never gets, I mean, Arthur Smith, Dave Ragone, offensive coordinator, they never get frustrated. They kind of just go, it's okay. We got a punt. That's all right. We'll let our defense do its thing. We'll come back. We'll go right back to what we've been doing. And you know, within that and a tactical maybe shot down the field every now and then, that's kind of how they play football.
And there was a key point in the game. It was tied 14-14. It was 3rd and 13. Mariota scrambles right there. 49ers, you noted, they had the momentum, and they were starting to take over the game, it was Marcus Mariota making a play in a key spot, which I think if you were to poll people before the game, who's going to be the team, which team is going to make that big play in a key spot? You think the 49ers would figure out a way to do it, but it was the Falcons that did.
It was. It's just, it was a huge part of the game. The 3rd and 13, here's another one where, you know, I'll question this one. The 49ers blitz, you know, and I just want to go, why? They're not a very good drop back passing team. Just like, that's not what they want to do. In fact, I would bet you they would have just like checked it down and been like, hey, we're going to punt. We're going to pin you back in your area. But they blitzed. Kind of people ran by him. He kind of made one guy miss. And all of a sudden, you know, the Red Sea parted and he ran up the middle. And it was a total game-changing moment. The 49ers had gotten back, you know, after the fumble by Wilson. It's 14-0. I mean, they drove down the field like a machine 2 times in a row. Jimmy Garoppolo made some big throws. The defense got them off the field, you know, in a series. And here you're going, no, they're going to get off the field again. It's 3rd and 13. They got him. And they pressure, and he makes that run. And it was crazy. It's like they never relinquished the momentum or the power of the game after that. From that point on, let alone the 49ers, missed a few opportunities on the offensive side of the ball to kind of make some things closer too.
All right, let's go to the other side there, because you mentioned it with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think it's pretty in vogue to, whenever the 49ers struggle offensively, be like, oh, here's Jimmy. The tide has turned on Jimmy a little bit here.
Right.
They've caught up to what you were saying maybe 3 years ago about Jimmy Garoppolo, because I think when the offense stalls, it's all about Jimmy. But you think he actually played okay?
I did think he played well. I had no problem with the way Jimmy did. Jimmy played well enough for them to win the game. It's the defense in the run game that didn't do enough for them. And then, you take into account that McLeod drops a big post down the middle. The other tight end, who I always blank on his name, he dropped a big ball down the middle. So there was 2 big drops that 89, where the game was still in the balance, and they left some opportunities to go down there and get close into scoring position. Jimmy G did miss one post route that he had Ayuk. Okay, but I could show you the great quarterbacks in football who missed post routes this week. Mm-hmm. Let's not overanalyze that. My big thing with them, his interception was bad. The second of the 2, right? The first one wasn't that bad. It was the end of the first half. And he's just trying to kind of make something happen, hoping they can get in field goal position. Second one, he doesn't see the defender kind of in the middle of the football field. But, overall, this is just not the kind of game the 49ers want to play. This is not who they are. When they start to go to 40 pass attempts with Jimmy Garoppolo and we're having to play through him, that's where, they're just not they don't eat up the clock. It doesn't open up some of the play action, big-time plays over the middle. It doesn't let their screen game, which I think is the best in football. And early on, they had it going on. But once Atlanta realized, oh, wait, like we can kind of stop their run today. We kind of got it going. They were able to defend some of that stuff too. So Atlanta is maybe I misvalued their talent a little bit. And the one thing I like about them too on the defensive side of the ball, they got big people. And the 49ers are not 100% on the offensive line. They got injuries, and they just won the war up there. They really did. I mean, they
both sides of the ball.
Some ass.
Both sides of the ball.
They definitely did.
Guys up front, Atlanta had the advantage.
They did. It's rare to say that.
Trent Williams out.
Out. Right. McGlinchey only played a little bit.
Yeah.
Brendel, who we talked about a little on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Some huge penalties and just inopportune moments that really put them back and put them beyond the 8 ball. So, all those things kind of reared their ugly head in this football game for the 49ers.
What'd you make of the end of the game? Remember we had the homie that tweeted in, was like, how come Kyle wasn't doing more hurry up at the end of the game? They had an 8-minute drive when they were down 14.
Well, yeah. They had 3 timeouts left. Yeah. And they were just going to make sure they got the first touchdown first. He was going to do it the right way. That's all I came to, is he wasn't going to, let's hurry up and be disorganized. Just so what? We score 30, 40 seconds before we should? I think he was just making sure that they were going to execute and do it the right way. There was still going to be plenty of time for them to score, get down there, make a stop, and then get the ball back with plenty of time too. So, again, I don't think there was a need for urgency quite at that moment, at least to the extent, our homie asked about on Monday.
Right. Ended up not scoring on that one, a turnover on downs. But yeah, the 49ers go down. They got to get healthy. So they got the Chiefs coming up next here. I don't know what their health is going to be and who's going to be available for them. But do they have any chance?
I think they're hoping that they can get back Bosa.
Okay.
I saw Shanahan's comment.
I'm sure they're always hoping.
Well, yeah, they are. But I think there was at least some possibility there.
Yeah.
But that would be, if they don't get healthier on the D line, they're not going to beat the Chiefs. You can't. They're undermanned. And as much as I respect the depth on their team, and it's still a good unit they got up there. Yeah, this is a different animal, as you know, and they're going to need everything they got here to slow down Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense.
Trent Williams could be back, Pete says. And the tight end that you were trying to think of, Charlie Werner.
Let's
never forget him again.
Okay,
Charlie
89,
Werner.
Charlie Werner.
Charlie Werner. His name was Charlie Werner. All right, so that's going to be tough for the 49ers. Falcons at the Bengals. So that's going to be that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Well, it'll be interesting.
Who's a better team right now?
Well,
who do you have more faith in?
Well, it'll be interesting in the fact that the Bengals had a hard time slowing down the run game of the Saints this past week.
That's right.
Which is very similar here. Big overpowering offensive line and some Taysom Hill element you got to worry about. Same with Mariota. So that's where that's interesting. And then, again, Atlanta, the Bengals, nothing's a guarantee with that offensive line. This is not a great pass rushing unit in Atlanta, but I would think they could play the game and go, we don't have to worry about, our defensive line against your running game. We feel okay, maybe compromising a little less run eggs in that basket, and we'll stop Jamar Chase in the pass game. That's where I do think it'll be a close game. I would be shocked if this is a blowout in any way.
All right, so that Falcons win over the 49ers was an upset in the NFL, but wasn't maybe as shocking when you take into consideration all the injuries.
Yeah.
Our next game we're going to talk about
Yeah.
was shocking to me. Maybe the most shocking in
Right.
the NFL this week, also because of injuries, but it was the team that won that had the most significant injuries. We're talking Buccaneers against the Steelers. Steelers win by 2 in this one, even though they lost their starting quarterback. And even though, and I was talking to Tony Dungy before the game, I was like, isn't that crazy? They didn't have Minka Fitzpatrick, and they beat Tom Brady. And he goes, they didn't have Akello. He goes, they didn't have basically their whole starting secondary. Yeah. And I looked at it again, and they had a lot of guys that were out in the defensive secondary. So you're like, of all teams to have to go against, here's Tom Brady. They're throwing the ball once again. He threw for 350 yards the last couple of games. What in the world happened? That's why we put you on this game. Will Caldwell says, was the story of the Bucs offense and the Steelers defense more about the O's struggles or the defense stepping up and executing?
A little bit of both. All right. I think there's a little bit of both in this one. Steelers obviously executed. The things we were concerned about with the Bucs, right? Interior offensive line, they were concernable. Is that a word? Concernable?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Concerning.
That's what you want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Close. I just made up my own word.
Yeah.
They were concerning.
Yeah.
Hayward had and Ogunjobi had their pick of the litter as far as whooping the crap out of the guys up front, especially the rookie Goddard, right? He struggled, no doubt about it. He was outclassed by Cam Hayward. So that in itself, allowed them, again, like we've always talked about, or we talk about with any great quarterback, it just allowed them to play coverage. They're always good at disguises and doing all of that. But when you can disguise and, make the quarterback think just a little bit with that aspect, and now it's, oh, gosh, well, I got somebody here at my legs or my feet or whatever else. Brady we know if there's a kryptonite in his game, people around him is affects him more than other great quarterbacks in the history of the sport. I'll say that. It is because of his lack of mobility, and his lack of real quickness there. That's not a thriving part of his game. And, they were fortunate in this game that Ogunjobi and Hayward whooped some ass in the middle of that offensive line all game long.
Yeah, but what'd you think? Because you noted Goddard struggled. But overall, did you feel like Tom needed to be that jumpy? Did he need to be that quick?
Not as jumpy as he was. There was definitely some of the early pressures affected him where, like you've heard me say with Rodgers, there was a few plays where I go, you're Tom Brady, man. The protection's good. You need to stand in there and make that throw right there. There was definitely a few of those plays where he was, feeling the heat, thought he was going to get pressure, saw a stunt happening in front of him, didn't know if they were going to pick it up, and got the ball out of his hand a little quickly. And, left some yards and a few plays on the football field. But overall, this is an overarching theme I'm seeing here in Tampa Bay. That's, of course, not been perfect all year. It was probably its worst we've seen in this game. And then I think when you add on top of, because of that, they can't run the ball or overpower people there. Mm-hmm. And then they can't find ways to get explosive plays right now. That's their big thing. They're not like all that effective in the red area, and they can't, Tampa Bay's been one of those teams where the last few years I've gone, they're around the 30. Good night. It's over. He might throw it in from the 30. He might throw it in from the 27 or whatever, But there's none of that. They got to work their ass way down and get down into the 5 or the 4 to them to score a touchdown. And Brady definitely not playing as good. Mike Evans, I think I said this on Monday a little bit. He's lost a step. What was that? Was that your phone?
Yeah, Craig over there. Craig's phone.
We
heard that, Craig.
Evans has lost a step to a degree. Godwin, I don't think, is totally 100%. And those have caused them to be, a less dangerous offense than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah, and maybe an offensive line still protecting, but not protecting as well.
No, exactly
weak link on the offensive
exactly
line.
Right.
And so it's all
making, let people develop downfield. Their plays develop.
It's making Tom Brady yell at his offensive lineman. It's like, the dad that's like, I don't want to have to do this, but you're making me have to yell at you. We saw it again. He's been very frustrated, throwing tablets. Go Longhorns 45 says, you think there's any locker room tension in Tampa with Tom Brady getting Wednesdays off and taking off for Kraft's wedding while the rest of the team is prepping for a game? And I just mentioned he's yelling at guys still. I do wonder about that. We talked about it, I think, on Sunday.
Yeah.
You think there are bad vibes in Tampa right now?
No, I don't think there's bad vibes. Again, you've heard me say this. Like, at no point did I think the rules were the same for me as they were for Warren Sapp. Or were they the same for me as Brian Dawkins when I was on the Denver Broncos? It's military rank. And, Wednesdays off has been going on for a long time. So that's where people got to realize that. I was in New England in 2012, and they were giving him Wednesdays off. All right? So that's not a new thing. The media is trying to make it a thing here as of late because they're piling on to the 11 days off and training camp thing. But at the very least, it's not the same Brady right now. It's just not. And does he seem a little haggard and, I don't know, giving off a different vibe or aura? Sure. They don't have any mojo right now. But I don't think the team is going to look at Brady and think, oh, he's not invested. But us, I think it's fair for us to question all of it. Like, we've never seen him do this. 2 days before a game, go to a wedding and hang out in New York and all that. I just, again, I would never tell any quarterback to ever do that, let alone I wouldn't think Tom Brady would even do it. So I think all that's a little shocking, let alone we know the issues at home and some of the stuff he's dealing with there. He looks like a guy that's stressed out. That's what he looks like to me in every press conference, right? He looks like that on the field. It just doesn't seem like quite the smooth, calm Tom Brady that we're accustomed to seeing.
Well, he's never going to retire now because he's like, man, everything sucks right now. I might as well just keep playing football. But yeah, they're 3-3 right now, and I don't think that this instilled a whole lot of confidence. Now, on the flip side,
yeah,
if you're a Steelers fan,
well, one more thing. I just want to say too, to the point of this last thing with the Steelers that I thought they did a good job. First off, played some man-to-man with all those injuries, I think speaks to what I was trying to say.
Not afraid of Evans and Godwin.
They're not as scary as they used to be. And then, secondly, with their disguises and zones, this is another reason I just want to give a credit. This is a New England-y thing to do. They were incredible at getting and disrupting slot receivers off the line of scrimmage or the tight end off the line of scrimmage. So the defensive end, yeah, you think, oh, yeah, he's going to rush the passer, but he would jam the tight end for a second and then go rush the quarterback. And it threw off the rhythm and timing of some plays where I go, oh, that guy's probably going to be open, but Brady is going, wait, why is he not there right now? And he moves on. You go, oh, well, they disrupt the timing. If he just stood there a little extra time, it would have came open. But the quarterback internal clock gets up when things like that happen, especially if it's your first or second read. Because then if it's your first read, oh, wait, why isn't he where he is? And then you go to your second read and you're there too quick. And then you go, wait, he's not there either. And it's like, well, because the first read was all messed up. You got off of it too quick and got to the second read too quick. And of course, if the first read, isn't there just naturally, not off the jam, and the second read is the tight end and he's been jammed, you get to the second read and you're like, wait, he's not there. And then you start to panic. So they did a good job of that stuff, and I got to think that was a Brian Flores influence in that one.
Yeah, and they pride themselves in that, too. Time to throw. I think Tom Brady is among the leaders in snap to throw and the lowest amount of time. And so, yeah, half a second can be huge.
That's going to be huge. Exactly right.
That offense. All right, now we flip it to no more things. To just real quick on the Steelers offense, because they did just enough in this one. You saw a good play design on the Najee Harris touchdown. You saw some interesting things. You've been critical of the Steelers and their creativity a little bit at times, but you saw maybe at least a couple good things.
I definitely did. They had a few little creative ways to push the ball down the field. The score touchdown there, like you said, with the Najee Harris, kind of knowing what to expect. And, the Buccaneers, who are kind of sending a blitz, the guy, so it's just hard to explain. They're sending 6 guys on pressure. If the back goes out, one of them got to come off and take him, right? Well, they let the back come out opposite of where he lined up, right? So he was on the right side of Pickett. They're blitzing, and the guy to that side, he sees Najee. He takes a second because he's like, wait, I might have to cover him. And he sees him goes away, and he goes, oh, I'm free. I can go, right? So then he blitzes. I believe it's Devin White on the other side. He's not expecting it to come to his side. So he blitzes and kind of realizes it as the quarterback's throwing, it's like, oh, shit. And I believe it was Devin White. But, good way to, again, movement, creativity, teams that's aggressive, test their communication, their rules a little bit, and that was a good play overall.
All right, I think it's interesting you mentioned that they're blitzing on that play against the Pittsburgh Steelers with a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
I think we have a graphic for that, Gabby and James back there. It is the quarterback pressure rate on plays without blitzes the past 3 years for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was back in 2020. They blitzed on 39%, or they got pressure on 39% of their plays without blitzes. That was 4th in the NFL. All right, so that's what it is. 4th in the NFL. They were getting pressure without having to blitz. Last season, they were down to 14th in the NFL on being effective without blitzing. This year so far, they're 20th in the NFL. They're not getting pressure unless they blitz.
Exactly.
Was that apparent in this film?
It's very apparent. The Steelers, as we've said for weeks, they're not good at run blocking. They're not bad at pass blocking. And it's definitely a thing right now with the Bucs. And I know there's no Hakeem Hicks, but I don't really care. I expected more. They are not creating the chaos. And even last year with that stat right there, right, where it's like a little down from 20 to 20.
Yep.
I mean, I would say that stat's a little misleading because teams last year were like, oh, shit, it's the Bucs. Let's keep a tight end in the block. So they were getting the same amount of pressure, having the same effect, but teams were keeping people in the block more because we can't block these guys, right? So that skewed the numbers a little bit as far as pressure. Mm-hmm. But now, yes, and I'm sitting there watching the game, Ahmed, and I'm just going, damn. I mean, I don't know if I've really looked at a Buccaneers defensive lineman yet to go, whoa, he's popping. This guy's catching my eye. Nobody. I mean, they're not really... they're really nowhere to be found as far as rushing the passer a little bit. Now, Pickett and Trubisky were good at getting the ball out of their hands pretty quick, especially Pickett. Every throw was short, get it out of your hands quick. But, yeah, shocking. And then as I'm sitting there watching, I'm going, well, let me look up the stats because I usually don't do that, but I'm going, I don't think there's anybody in their team that's towards the top of football in quarterback sacks. And there I go. I pull up the top 50 sacks and sack leaders in the NFL. The only 2 people on the list from the Buccaneers, not D lineman, one's a safety in Winfield and Devin White, speaking to the blitz.
Yep.
That's the only way they're getting there right now. And so the money in Tampa is not performing. That's really the biggest thing. Brady's not playing to his capability. They're not making as many explosive plays with their big money weapons out there. And this defensive line, where there's a lot of assets and money there, they're not making it happen either. Vita Vea, Shaq Barrett, Tryon Shianko, who's a first-round pick from a few years ago. They're not influencing the game to the standard that they've set there in Tampa.
So they take on the Panthers next. Is that just what the doctor ordered for the Bucs and Todd Bowles and Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, on the defensive side of the ball, it will be. They'll certainly whoop the shit out of the Carolina Panthers offense. But the other side of the ball, I'm not sold on that. I'm not. I could see them having a decent day, but I have a hard time right now thinking Tampa's just going to light up the sky.
Anybody.
Just about anybody. But in Carolina, again, there's more talent there than I think their statistics bear out. Now, they're a team where I'd go, well, I don't even know where they're ranked defensively, but I'd go, well, you'd be down 8 or 10 spots too if you had to play with that offense and you were on the field every 4 plays, right? The whole game. You're going to break too. So I could see them like making life, hard on Brady and company.
We get to see the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. They're in Miami taking on the Dolphins. Tua's supposed to be back in that one. That'll be awesome to see. We don't know if Kenny Pickett will play or not. He had to leave this game because of a concussion.
Right.
If he doesn't, though, Mitchell Trubisky,
yes,
he was great at the end of the game.
It was great.
I mean, you almost can make the argument that maybe they don't win that game without Mitchell Trubisky at the end there.
He made some big time power throws. That's for sure. That's where.
Would Kenny Pickett have done that?
I don't know. His arm is stronger than Pickett's. There's no doubt. But he made a handful of plays, and even a scramble or two where he just went, good job, just getting out of harm's way there. And of course, the play at the end of the game to Claypool to close it out was phenomenal. There was another throw that I wanted to talk about, but I can't remember which one it was exactly off the top of my head. But Pickett did a really good job. He did, and it's a nice luxury for them to have. Even if they got to play the Dolphins this week, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. That's going to be interesting too. See that Dolphins, the way they play defense against that crew of receivers. Be some interesting matchups there.
All right, that's Sunday Night Football, and do you want a chance to win free SNF gear? Why not? Who wouldn't? You can sign up for the Sunday Night Football Inside SMS program so you can be the first to know about the giveaways. Text SWAG to 763-622 to sign up today. That is SWAG at 763-622. Participation is optional. You're not going to be forced to do this. Chris will not show up at your home and commandeer your phone and text that in. But message and data rates do apply. We want to let you know that. So you can get free gear. All right, we're moving on now.
One more thing.
I knew it. I knew there was something brewing in your head.
3 third and longs at the end of the game.
Yes.
They converted just to bang home that point.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Just back in the old days, last year, the year before, you got to 3rd and 10 plus against the Bucs. Good night. Just go down in the fetal position and punt the ball. Now teams are going, we can throw a first down here. No problem. So that was shocking.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
Offensively and defense.
Colombo strikes again.
Colombo streaming on Peacock,
yes,
which we reminded you last time. We'll take a little break from the deep dive, the treasure hunters, to go Big Butt of the Week awards. Time to give some love to these big guys.
Some tushes.
Not on Tampa. We're not. They're not showing it right now.
Performing.
They've not earned it at this point. So we're going to start with our Edge Big Butt of the Week award, and these are both players, by the way, that we've talked about already. It was almost too obvious, but hey,
sometimes you got to go with it.
Give credit where credit is due.
Right.
Even if we talked about him on Monday, the Edge Big Butt of the Week award goes to the Vikings edge guy linebacker Za'Darius Smith. Had a couple sacks, 4 quarterback hits, double-digit pressures in the game.
That's insane. Double-digit pressures?
So the 2 players ranked in the top 3 in tackles for losses and pressures this season, one is Za'Darius Smith, and the other is Micah Parsons.
Wow.
The only 2 that are in the top 3 of both of those.
Wow, that's impressive. Za'Darius Smith, every game. And again, I didn't get a chance to go back and watch this, so I can't, speak to who he was whooping. Every game he's popped like this, though.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
Talk about free agent signings that have made the biggest impact. He's got to be in that conversation.
I agreed. I mean, he really is. He's a force right now. I mean, it's after last year, back injury, all of that. So it's cool to see. And he's definitely just check him out. He's the best player on that Vikings defense so far this year. There's no doubt about that.
That has stepped up. I mean, they got a lot of veterans. Kind of a fun team because there's guys who have been there for a while.
Right.
And maybe they're all playing a little bit better this year.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a run and going to make me right.
He's got him going.
Yeah, they're going to make me right on them being a playoff team, I think. I'm feeling
you're
that right
looking
now.
good. You're sitting pretty.
Maybe the Jets will be a playoff team, and they've got a Big Butt of the Week award winner in their defensive tackle in Quinnen Williams. Led the Jets with 8 solo tackles. He had 14 in total in the game. Couple sacks, the forced fumble, the block kick. He's got 5 sacks this season, most among defensive tackles.
He's in the conversation. He's reached the stratosphere of, top D tackles in football.
He's a Big Butt of the Week award winner. So
exactly. So now you know he's in that stratosphere. Yeah. Right. I mean, he just the biggest thing is he's just winning with quickness more this year than I think he's won in any of the other years. And he looked like that from the start to me. Like he had shed a few pounds, lost some of his baby fat or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, but he was unblockable in this football game. I mean, one-on-one, He every week is an issue. And then the rest of the D-line there in New York is coming along with him. But, yeah, he is the best player on that defense for sure. And, it's a defense, again, that they don't want to blitz a ton and do stuff like that. They need their front four to get home. It's the Seattle scheme. And he's certainly doing that.
Pro Football Focus had him ranked as the 14th ranked defensive tackle this week. I disagree with that. I'm going to give
14th ranked defensive tackle this week?
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I'm just... How could that be? Who were the 13 in front of him? That's where I don't know.
Half the league.
I'm shocked by that. How could that be? Yeah, okay.
We won't make that the same mistake here. Pete is listing them all in our ear right now, but yeah, whatever. We can look into that even deeper. We disagree here on the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast, but here's what we do agree with.
Yeah.
Most people: the Jets played well last week, and so you want to take a closer look at the Jets. Specifically that defense and how they shut down Aaron Rodgers. So let's do that. And I'll tell you what, defenses that have young guys who you believe in that in 5 years, they might be the best, and maybe even less than that, maybe the best at their position. You talked already about Quinnen Williams, but you got Sauce Gardner out there. You've got some really good young players on this Jets defense. You took a closer look at them again for the second week in a row. You said they looked really, really fast last week.
Yes.
Did they look as fast or faster this week?
Faster.
Wow.
It's one of those things, again, where you turn it on and it jumps out to you. You turn it on, especially if you watched another team before that, maybe that's not as fast, and you turn it on and you go, whoa, this group here is moving at a different level. They're not overly complicated. See, this is the good thing about when you're not overly complicated. You can play fast and just react and go, all gas, no brakes, like Robert Saleh's theme is for the team this year. But it gave them issues in a major way. Their movement up front, hey, everybody slant this way or everybody slant that way. They couldn't sort it out or deal with the movement, especially the two interior guys. Quinnen Williams, big butt of the week. Sheldon Rankins could have been junior big butt of the week. He was also kind of unblockable in this football game. So that gave issues. Ahmed, you've heard me talk about their linebackers are extremely fast too. When you talk about the other Williams at linebacker, along with Mosley and Quan Alexander, man, they fly around. And then you got Jordan Whitehead, who plays around the line of scrimmage, who I love. I think he's like the most underrated safety in football. So you add that group right there, aggressive psychos who, just cause chaos. I love it. I do. And that was like, not only did they cause the issues in the pass game for Green Bay, and they couldn't block them that way, but it was also the run game. The run game, and you've heard me talk about this before, it was like a week where they said, hey, don't worry about shuffling down the line of scrimmage and being like in your gap, right? If you just see a hole, just run through it and go. And just create the chaos and havoc that way. And it was a little different that way in this game, where I felt like the linebackers, I don't know what they coach or what they said, they were just given the green light. Like where you see the hole, just run through it. The running back's probably going to be going through there soon at some point anyways. And it smothered the Packers. It gave them no chance to really run the ball or get it going at all at any point in the game.
You said Quincy Williams, that linebacker,
Yeah,
CJ
right.
Mosley, Quan Alexander, they can all fly. I mean, you basically raved about every part of this Giants or this Jets. Jets. It almost seemed like you're now becoming a fan of the Jets like you are the Giants, because you said, I love the secondary. These linebackers can fly, and you already mentioned Rankins and Quinnen Williams on the defensive line.
Right. And then you add in LaMarcus Joyner at safety along with Whitehead, and then, DJ Reed and Sauce at corner. And like you already said, and you saw it in my notes, Sauce is the real deal. I mean, he's special. He really is. To have that kind of length and then that kind of short area quickness to go along with it, that's where it's just rare. It's usually guys like that or have more build-up speed, or, when they have to put their foot in the ground and then redirect, it takes a little longer than the corner that's 5'10 or 5'11, right? But he moves like one of them. And that's where he's different. And he's got great feel, too. So the Jets not only here are at a point where they can play man-to-man, and they don't want to live in that, but they're not afraid to. And then they're also incredible about passing receivers off in zones, too, which has always been a Seattle scheme, thing. And, of course, Saleh came from Seattle before the 49ers. So they're very good at that way, too, where it might, you might think it's man-to-man and, oh, here comes Sauce. He's following the guy inside, but he sees somebody coming to his direction, and he backs off and now takes that guy coming his way and switched it off with somebody else. They're very good in that department to go along with, the talent they have, too.
On the other side now, I'm almost going to feel bad ripping on the Packers offense because, it's a legit defense. And a lot of offenses are going to have, even the best offenses out there, you'd think, are going to have problems with this Jets defense.
Well, especially when you play the way the Packers do.
All right, so here we go.
So this adds to their team speed, to your point you're about to say, I think. I don't even know what you're going to say, but I think I know where you're going here.
Well, we've talked about it on this pod multiple times, just Aaron Rodgers and not pushing the ball down the field, not taking the chances that they need, always looking to pass around the line of scrimmage. So we have a graphic on the throws behind the line of scrimmage in the NFL this season, and they have the most attempts of any team behind the line of scrimmage. They do have the most completions, so that's good. They have the second most passing yards. They have the 14th most passing yards per attempt, so they're not getting a whole lot of bang for their buck, even on these passes that are behind the line of scrimmage for other teams are going for more yards. So they do it a lot. They did it more in this game. Aaron Rodgers is looking to do it more in this game. Why is he doing that? What is happening?
I really don't know. I have nothing to tell. I don't know what it is. My theory is that he's protecting his little bubble that he knows is his, which is, greatest quarterback rating, greatest touchdown to interception ratio in the history of football, all of that stuff, completion percentage all goes into quarterback rating. It's almost if you had to Chris, give me your theory on why he's like this. It's what he wants to do, and it's protective of that. It's like I've said this to Florio on Tuesday. It's like he knows Brady has all the rings. He's not going to be able to ever get there and be comparable, but he can come away going, but my touchdown to interception ratio blows you away. My quarterback rating blows you away. My quickness into 300 and 400 touchdowns blows you away. So he's going to be able to stand on that. I don't know. But either way, this is not conducive to them winning football games or winning a championship, more importantly.
He's not the guy that you fell in love with.
He's not the guy I fell in love with. He's changed. He's changed. I don't know who you are anymore.
But really, if you're just a person who's listened to this podcast this past year, you'd think like, oh, Chris doesn't really like Aaron Rodgers. No, you've called him the best quarterback you
in the
have
history
ever
of
seen.
Football. Yes. He's still one of my favorites of all time. It doesn't mean you get a free pass from Chris Sims and I just sit here and go, man, is he awesome. Even when he's checking it down for -2 yards and there's complete. I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never. It's just not going to happen. And I'm evaluating the team and what's wrong with them. And this is wrong. One, their offensive line's a little overrated. Okay. So that's the first thing we talk about. They're not as good. They're kind of feast on the poor in the run game. They never run the ball good against good defenses. You ever notice that? Ever in a big game that they ever run it well on? They run it well a lot of the times because of Rodgers, and he gets them in the right running play, and teams are so worried about him throwing the ball that it helped the run game going. But now it kind of plays hand to hand. Oh, wait, the run game? Oh, no, they're just going to throw it a few yards farther than they're going to run it. If they're going to run it right here, and they're going to throw it like right here. So a team like the Jets, they're built for that. Oh, hey, wait, we're simple and fast, and we can just fly around and pedal to the metal. Sure. We don't have to worry about anything behind us other than if we play man-to-man, he'll throw a go route. And again, I'm not totally blaming Rodgers here. Maybe it's LaFleur in the offense too. But it's the constant. Again, I don't mean to beat this in the ground, but there's 6-7 plays every week. You hear me say it where I go, I don't know. Why doesn't he read this play out? Here's a 20-yard gain. He didn't even give this play a chance because he's always looking to throw to the back in the flat that's got leverage, right? That's what he always is. And what I mean by leverage is like, hey, my back, I'm in the shotgun, the back's offset to the left, and I noticed the linebacker's a little squeezed inside, so my guy running the flat route to the left should be able to get out there quicker than he does, and if I give him a ball, he'll turn it up for sidelines. Well, they have fast linebackers, so that wasn't as easy. Then what else do they do that? Passing people off, right? So you think it's man, Sauce is playing bump over there. I'm going to have that guy. Oh, shit, it's cover 3 Seattle. He came off his guy. Now he's sitting there waiting for the guy in the flat. And we got a 0-yard gain, or I had to throw it in the feet because I've already abandoned the play to take the easy bullshit completion. And again, like I said, the league is set up right now for the Mahomes and the Allens of the world. Not the dink and dunks, Joe Montana 1987 football here. And they're dropping the ball. He's dropping the ball. And, yeah, it's not good on that side of the ball for them.
All right, let's try to figure out what's going on here. Because after the game, Aaron Rodgers said some things. And then on Monday, Matt LaFleur said some things in response. So I think we have that soundbite right now. Let's take a listen.
Simpler. Simplify some things.
How do you view how your offense is playing right now?
Very inconsistent. And that's why I think we need to simplify things. Because on the couple drives we did move the ball, it was very simple things. Very simple plays, no motion. So we need to look at everything and the guys that we got and what we can accomplish with them, and let's be smart about moving forward. The plays that we had in were easily, understood and executable. So this is not an attack on the staff at all, because they put in a plan that can win football games. But the execution, when it looks like that, it's not good enough. So we do probably need to rein in a little bit.
Matt, were you surprised to hear how much Aaron wants to simplify the offense yesterday?
I don't know what that means. It really doesn't matter what we do schematically. If we don't block better, it's hard to do anything. And I think that was the number one issue yesterday. I mean, the first two drives of the game, I think the only motion we had was we had the halfback go around the quarterback, and they were in man coverage, and the backer went flying out of the box. And we went 3 and out in both those drives. So, it's always somewhere in the middle of that stuff.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah, he let you know.
Because I don't know what he means.
Because
you don't know what he means.
I don't know what Rodgers means either. First off, he said they want to go simple, and then he talked about them messing up simple plays. Did he not say that? I asked Pete and them to rewind it because we didn't just play that part again. I mean, it made no sense. It's the simplest offense in football. Period. Yeah, their O-line, like I said, it got beat. It wasn't so obliterating to where I went, oh no, there wasn't some plays there, and Rodgers didn't have enough time at all the whole game. Again, I didn't look at it like that. But when the game is back in the flat, let me throw the back in the flat, let me throw a screen, or let me throw an RPO. I don't know how much simpler you can be. And then, as you've heard me say, there's no normal rhythmic aggression in the offense. It's back in the flat, screen, RPO, back in the flat, screen, RPO. Oh, they're playing man-to-man on us, bump and run. Let's throw a go route down the sideline. That's it. It's as simple as shit. Anybody watching football that knows X's and O's is watching Green Bay on film going, their offense is simple. So I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is saying there. I don't know what he wants. It's like he wants to set it up even more so he can keep doing that.
Yeah.
That's, to me, what I look at. It's like he wants everybody to be stationary so he can audible to the right 4-yard route every play. That's what it kind of sounds like to me.
I think he mentioned, what was that, Pete, that he likes, without motion, you can have more tempo, is what he said in other parts of it.
Sure. I mean, I don't disagree with that statement. You can have more tempo without motion, right? But motions in that, to me, cause way more pressures and pressure on a defense. But again, I don't think he cares about it. I think he wants to go, tempo, let me get up there. Maybe it'll simplify them because we're hurrying up, and I can throw another slant route and another slant route and another RPO and another slant route. And that's great. And again, it's going to beat a good amount of teams in football, but as you've heard me say really from about the start of the year, it's not going to beat the quality teams in the game. And I think that's starting to show.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to show here pretty apparent across the board.
That's what we always say. You can learn about the NFL by watching the Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast and learn maybe a week or two early about what everyone else is going to be saying.
That's right.
Because everyone else is getting on that Packers offense right now. They got the Commanders coming up next. Maybe they'll be able to carve up that defense. We'll have to see.
I mean, passing would be tough. They got to block that group this week. That'll be tough. I mean, Washington's defense is close. Now, where they got to win this game for sure is their Green Bay's offense Green Bay's offense should smush. I mean, Green Bay's defense should smush Washington's offense. So that's where they should win the game. But there's just, there's too many empty yards for the Packers. That's the other thing, too. It's just, he threw for 140 yards in the first half. And it's like, well, okay, it's pretty good first half. But what did that amount to? Nothing. 3 points. Because it's all like, oh, all right, wait, we hit a go route, and now let's go back to dink and dunk or run for nothing. All right? Or we hit an RPO, and the guy ran far after it. But, like, that RPO is not going to fool them the next time. They're not going to miss the tackle at the 4-yard point. And to me, that's where, they're frustrating right now. They're frustrating because, I like this quarterback, too.
You like the quarterback?
I don't get it.
You like the other team, too. The Jets at the Broncos. That'll be the over-under on that game will be 3.5. It's going to be 3 points. A field goal could win it.
Seriously. I mean, it really it will be interesting to see that game because the Broncos offense is struggling to such a degree. It's really Russell Wilson, too.
Yeah.
They might be able to run the ball.
You're struggling
I know.
now.
I'm choking. They might be able to run the ball a little bit on this Jets D.
Yeah.
I think they might be good enough up front to kind of sort out the speed and get that going. But the other side is going to be interesting. Really, that's the clash of the Titans there. The Jets' offense, as we know, they have explosive ability. They do. They didn't have to. They played this game the right way. They knew their defense, I think, was on to their offense and could stop Green Bay. And their offense, really, they played conservative. And they just waited to take their chances. And they made some plays when they had to. And of course, between that and some of the playmakers they have, it was a good way to play. They really beat Green Bay in a game they wanted to play. They out Green Bay'd Green Bay in Green Bay.
All right, we want to take a look at the Patriots. We want to take a look at the Browns, a little bit of the Ravens too, and the Giants. So we got still a lot to do. So we got to move through as we get to the Peter Awards here, the punt awards. It is he went through 124 punts this week. Looked at every one of them. 123 of them were all playing for the chance at second place here because the Vikings punter Ryan Wright had 10 punts. 7 were inside the 20. Wow. And 3 returned for a total of just 2 yards.
Wow.
That's crazy.
7 punts inside the 20?
7 punts inside that. That's a lot of punts. 10 punts in a game seems
that game
excessive.
Was ugly. I mean, that was an ugly game.
So that is Ryan Wright. That's why I like this segment. You learn things about it's like how the Vikings doing it. That's a significant reason why the Vikings are doing it. Bad field position for the other team. So congratulations to Ryan Wright. Flyer of the week, there was no contest on this one. You saw the game on Monday. Chargers corner Jasir Taylor, a 6th-round rookie out of Wake Forest, was blocking a man into the returner who had called a fair catch. It was like one of the smartest plays of the weekend, and it was on Monday.
Very aware.
Caused a fumble.
Right.
And it was recovered by the Chargers, and that was the ball game in overtime.
That was the ball game. It was the biggest play for the last 2 hours of the game. I mean, it was the most boring game ever.
It was weird, yeah.
It was, yeah. Well, the Chargers, they're doing this disservice to Justin Herbert and the talent they have. And we talked about this a little last year. Because remember last year, they played a game against the Bengals where they had a few sprinkled in downfield shots with their normal meat and potatoes of their offense is good. But to throw the ball 4 yards at a clip every game, all game long, when you have one of the best arms in the history of football at quarterback, I got a problem with that. You're letting the other team off the hook with the way they play. Oh, good. I know he's going to throw for 70%. But so what? You're almost losing to a team that you shouldn't lose to. So they need to open it up a little bit and take a few more shots, and that's where they're frustrating.
How dare you turn the Peter Awards into a ripping of the Chargers'
Sorry, but that was
strategy.
an amazing play. Let me give that guy some love, too.
Jasir Taylor.
Yes, way to go. I mean, really, and great job just seeing the returner right behind him and going, I'm going to push him into him, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you want to block me right there? Whose fault is that? Who needs to be yelling Peter to get everyone away from the returner? The returner needs to. But he's trying to fair catch
I know, but he's got to realize as he's running up to go, wait, there's some people that might be in my area here. Get out of the way. Right? I mean, and of course, the guy that blocking him needs to have some awareness of where the ball is as well. Totally. But usually, no, it's the returner who can see everything. So it's on him to kind of direct some of that traffic. And yeah, it's not easy. Like you're saying, he's trying to focus on the ball, look downfield, catch the ball, look downfield, catch the ball, look downfield. That's hard. You couldn't pay me to do that job.
Honorable mention was the Packers corner, Keshawn Nixon, who got knocked into 2 Packers coachers on their first punt, then bounced back to make an open field tackle on the next punt. Never give up. Never give up.
Right.
A bold move of the week,
Yeah.
Pete, is giving to the Patriots rookie safety flyer, Brendan Schooler. He recovered a muff punt and presents it to Bill Belichick. Did you see this? So we have Ben Volen tweeted it out, and he goes, "Here, Bill, take the ball." And then there are people that come up to him and they're like, "Hey, don't do that. Bill doesn't want the ball right now." It was in the middle of a game. That's a
Bill's like, I have 7 Super Bowl balls. I don't need your fumble punt and return ball in week 6 of the year. And we're in the middle of the game, and it's 24-15.
yeah.
Right? 24-15, Ahmed. 24-15.
You don't like that.
Are we going to the
conversion.
Browns-Patriots game
We're going
now?
to the Browns-Patriots game.
Let's start there.
Okay.
All right. You were talking about stat or lie at something at the end.
We'll still get to that.
What is their f***ing logic for going for 2 down 24-15?
Well, you have to at some point, right? It's like, what are you, a why do today what you can put off until tomorrow type of person? Because you got to either go for 2, the first touchdown or the second touchdown.
Okay. That's fine.
Why not just go for the first touchdown?
Well, just keep it to a 1-score game, and we'll get there when we get there. But keep, the pressure on them. Like, what's the point of making it a 2-possession game? You know.
So that is always your point, is that you feel like if you make it a 1-possession game, that the other team
has
will
to
feel
readjust
a little
how
bit
they
more.
play.
They'll play differently.
Definitely. They
worse.
might not be as aggressive. They're going to go, well, shit, this is big here. I wanted to call that reverse to Tyquan Thornton, but I don't know. Gosh, damn, it's a 1-score game. Let's not do that and put ourselves in a bad position. Oh, wait, we're up by 2 scores? Let's call it. Oh, touchdown. Now you're done. See you later. Good night.
But it could be the reverse. You're like, oh, let's do the reverse play. Oh, crap. Why did we do that? Fumble. Boom. Took it the other way.
I mean,
Could be the opposite, right? You play a little loose, play a little too loose, maybe if you're the Patriots.
I guess. I mean, you could throw the ifs and whats about all of it.
Yeah.
I am always a believer, again, in just the, put the pressure on, keep the team to have to, execute within the pressure of the game there a little bit, and they let the Patriots off the hook, in my opinion. I know you got to do it at some point. And I know the argument is, well, now they know what they need. They would have known what they needed if they were down by 8. It was a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And the game was setting up to where they were going to get the ball back. They're going to get the ball back on that punt and be down, or they should have been down, 1 possession. But instead it was 2 possessions. So, I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like the way the Browns manage the game.
Yeah,
the Browns need to watch Giants and Falcons games and learn how to manage football like Daboll and Arthur Smith. They play like they're the 2001 Rams. Like we'll get down here again in 3 minutes and score a touchdown. It doesn't matter that it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 and we have a field goal. Well, we're the greatest show on turf. We'll be right down there again. Like, they don't talk about like teams that know who they are and don't know who they are.
Yep.
Cleveland is one of them. They don't know what they are.
So this is how they're playing. Let's take a look at their rushing game log this season, week 1 through all the way through week 6. Week 1 against the Panthers, they had 39 attempts. They had 217 yards. Be like, yeah, we're a rushing team. Against the Jets, week 2, look at that, 184 yards. Jets defense looking pretty good right now, so that's a pretty good. And 37 attempts, and they had 38 attempts, and they had 35 attempts. Week 5 against the Chargers, 31 attempts. And then this week against the Patriots, 18 attempts. Now, was that a function of them falling behind early? I forget exactly the game
they
flow
fell down
of this game.
24-6.
So they just got away from the running game after that.
Well, yeah. I mean, got away from the running game. Again, did some stupid stuff. It's 3-3. It's the 19-yard line. It's Bailey Zappe you're playing. Kick the field goal, go up 6-3. They don't do that. I don't understand that. I don't. Now, their lack of running in here in this game, like, I'm not going to get mad at them. I would have liked to see them run the ball a little bit more, but they weren't winning the battle there. They weren't. The Patriots D is good, and it's good. And
that's a bigger headline here then.
I think so. Is that first off, they have a lot of big people. The Browns have shown the ability. They're good, if you look at that list there, at blocking the faster, smaller D linemen. Like the Jets, that's what they are, right?
That's interesting.
The Chargers are that way. The Carolina Panthers are that way. So they're able to adjust. They showed some issues here against some some run stuffers that, oh, wait, we can't move them the way they can or usually can. And the other thing that's amazing about New England, and I think this caught the Browns by surprise too, it's just the size of their linebackers. I think a few plays where they were like, oh, wait, we're going to block this way, and our lineman will kick out the linebacker on pulling guard here, and we'll have a big hole. Not so fast. Not against Matt Judon and some of these outside linebackers they got. I mean, again, they have outside linebackers. Their linebackers are 270, 265. You know, they have huge people. And they overpowered Cleveland from that aspect and made running the ball very hard.
Yeah, a lot of good things for the Patriots here, but one more thing on the Browns. So,
okay, Columbo. One more thing on the Browns.
One more thing. So, Jacoby Brissett. We were very positive about Brissett earlier in the year. He was doing some good things, making some plays where you're like, oh, if Deshaun Watson was doing this, everyone would be like, see, this is why they got him.
Yeah, right.
Jacoby Brissett did not look so good in this game. Was not good against the blitz. So only 3 for 11 for 29 yards and a couple interceptions here.
Right.
Is he taking a step back from what you saw in this game?
Yeah. Well, they're a team that's so dependent on the run. They don't tie together their run and play action pass all that well. You know, I don't find their drop back passing game overly creative. All right. So the Patriots had no problem, like maybe rushing 5 and being, one less guy in the secondary. Cause I think they had great feel of like, okay, well, we know where their guys are going to end up in this formation.
Sure.
We can figure out the zone coverage we want. So there was a little bit of aspect of that, let alone the Patriots are good in man-to-man too. And they were like, well, your guys aren't that scary. Other than Amari Cooper, I don't know if there's anybody that really scares you going deep on that offense. So there's that played into their hand as well. And then, he made some mistakes in this one. I mean, the first interception, was that the first drive of the game? It might have been. It was early on.
Second play of the game?
Second play of the game. I mean, he's got him. He's gotten Njoku. Njoku's got him beat. He just was too long in delivering the football. He was 2 steps too late before he let it go, where, you know, at that point, if he had just let it, I mean, the guy had Kyle Duggar beat by, 5 yards, you know, when the play was supposed to be delivered. But he took a little longer to get it out there and let Duggar get back underneath it and got the interception.
So full credit, though, to the Patriots who were able to move the ball with a third-string rookie quarterback in Bailey Zappe. He did it again. I think we have a graphic of him versus the blitz and his play action stuff. It was all very good for Bailey Zappe in this game versus the blitz. He had 186 yards against the blitz that led the NFL in week 6 against a blitz. And then play action, he was very good as well.
Right.
165 yards, which also led the NFL in week 6.
Well, it's what we said Monday, right? The Browns sold out to stop the run. They sold out.
They didn't think Bailey Zappe and the Patriots offense could do this through the air.
Probably not. And, you know, to like something you said earlier, you got to pick your poison a little bit. So they went, okay, like we're going to have to pick one. Let's play that Bailey Zappe won't beat us because Ramondre Stevens running up the middle through huge holes is definitely going to beat us. Yeah. You know, and I think that's kind of where they got to. They're not, as we discussed last week against the Chargers and everybody, they're not good at stopping the run. They're a small defensive line that's a little banged up and not totally healthy, but there's no marquee defensive lineman on their team other than Myles Garrett. And then their linebackers are small too. It's just not a great matchup for them in that standpoint. So, yeah, they were way overplaying the run. And then too aggressive blitzing. I mean, just too aggressive. That's where I don't get it. You know, again, I'm the guy that sits here and goes, when you play a young quarterback, make him sit in the pocket and make decisions and throw and read coverages into windows. Don't blitz and leave huge gaping areas to where you make the decision for him. Oh, it's one-on-one. I got to throw a fade. Oh, it's a blitz right here. Let me throw my hot route. Oh, okay. I mean, you're making the game really easy for him. I know everyone thinks, it's going to pressure the rookie quarterback. Did they think New England wasn't going to be ready for the blitz with a rookie quarterback? I mean, that's where I want to go. Like, what the are you guys thinking in Cleveland? You didn't think that they were going to coach up the offensive line to pick up the 5-man pressure? Oh, no, yeah. New England's going to go into the game going, damn, they're bringing 5. I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know what they're thinking again. It doesn't match up to the team they are again. Once again, they play a defensive style like they got Mahomes and Josh Allen on the other side. Where like, you go down and score, it doesn't matter. We're going to go right down and score too. And I'm going to go, you're the Browns. I don't know what you're thinking here. The Browns is the Browns, and it's because of the Browns right now. And so that, as you can see, is frustrating me.
You think in the second half, they're like, crap, guys, we're the Browns. We forgot that.
Well, just like, How about the first touchdown of the game for the New England? We talked a little bit on Monday. A 31-yard run on 3rd and 10. Like, you should be happy. Kick a field. Make them kick the field goal. 6-3. Whoop-de-doo. Instead, they go for the kill. They go for the kill like they're going to knock them out of field goal range. And the Patriots are ready for it. Then he runs right up the middle, and he doesn't get touched on a 31-yard run. That's where I just don't get it that way. I don't. The Browns are annoying me there, and the Browns, there's just not a plan for blitz sometimes where I go, what's the plan? Like, who is he supposed to throw to here? What they all out blitz. The last interception he threw to Jalen Mills. It's just like, it was like, oh, whoa, they sent everybody. We weren't ready for that. So I don't understand that. And then, had some moments too where I understand they have to load the box, but they're undisciplined. They're too over aggressive on the defensive side of the ball. And then they have moments where, hey, I'm playing you man to man. You're the receiver, right? And they run a run fake kind of towards them, and they're looking at the run fake. Well, it's got nothing to do with you. Cover your guy. He just ran by you, and they're going to throw a touchdown pass. It's undisciplined across the board in all areas.
But hat tip to the Patriots.
Yeah.
Here they come, Good win against the Lions,
No doubt.
You go, oh, it's the Lions. But they were playing well, and the offense was playing well. Now, good win against the Browns, and now
they got it going.
Now they got the Bears on Monday Night Football.
Right. Yep.
Chance to move to 4-3. And
right.
Here come the Patriots.
That's right. The Patriots, again, using September as the preseason, and now they're starting to play football here, and their D is real. All right. It's going to be really good. And then as we talked about this going into the game, it's the hottest run game in football. Now, it didn't show it this week because they were like, whoa, this team's stupid and is going to overplay it to such a degree. We got to throw it. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, they're putting you in a bind. And I don't care, Zappe, Mac Jones, whoever, they're just, as long as they get efficient, solid play out of the quarterback position, they're going to be tough to beat.
Patriots just shutting down the number 1 rush offense in the NFL. Will face the number 2 rush offense in the Chicago Bears. A little bit different.
Little different. But the same thing holds true.
Yeah.
Passing games that are not that hard to break down to where they can put eggs in both. They can go, we can play the extra egg in the run game stop basket because you're not that creative on this end, so we'll figure out how to stop that too. And that's never a good formula.
I have a feeling you're going to pick the Patriots.
I am.
To win this game easily
Yes.
on Monday. One more game to talk about. You did the deep dive, the treasure hunters, the what the F happened with the Ravens and the Giants.
Okay.
Of course you wanted to look at this game. You wanted to see it. You wanted to relive it. You wanted to relive what the Giants did.
I didn't get to enjoy it in all its glory on Sunday.
Yeah. And I think it's most notable. This game was close
tell
late.
me what jumped out to you.
This game was close late.
Right.
The Ravens probably should have won the game, right? Let's just go to that last play.
Sure.
The interception by Lamar.
Right, yeah. Ravens outplayed them. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. But it goes into, again, the Giants, knowing who they are, not making mistakes. They don't make very negative plays. And they kind of just wait for you to make a mistake, and they pounce on it. And they play the field position game. And they got a little bit of that, like, okay, you drove down and got a field goal. Okay, you drove down and got a field goal. Okay, you drove down and kind of got a field. Oh, you didn't get the field goal this time. All right, we went 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out. Oh, but now in this drive, we put it together. We scored a touchdown. So you've outplayed us and moved the ball 4 drives in a row. We haven't moved it yet, except this drive, and here we are. We're winning 7-6. It's like old school Patriots a little bit in some ways that way. Uglier, but certainly effective in what they're doing right now.
Yeah, you noted that the Giants' defense against Lamar did some of the same things that the Jets were doing.
I didn't even get to the last play there, but go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's right.
But go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to that again.
Yeah.
We'll circle back.
We will.
Because you reminded me of something, how they're just sending guys, and they were doing something that the Jets were doing, sending guys into the gap and just trying to muck things up.
Yes,
right. And they were doing that too. Now, the Ravens did break some runs, some long runs.
There's
so
no doubt.
They all look kind of similar too.
They did.
But what about that strategy for the Giants?
I think the Giants were, I don't know, but if I had to just read between the lines of what I saw on film and watched it, I think the Giants, felt, hey, we're not the best cover corners in football, but without Rashad Bateman, I think we can kind of stay with them a little bit and do that. I felt I got the sense really that they were more concerned with Lamar scrambling than anything at the end of the day. That was what they wanted like not let him break loose. So yeah, that added to a lot of pressures and people doing that. And I do think, I think instead of trying to go like, hey, we're going to be in every gap in the right spot, which is almost impossible against Baltimore because one guy flies this way and a guard pulls this way, but yet they ran the other way. And so you're like always outnumbered. I think they tried to play like, let's just cause some chaos and the guy that's pulling will get f***ed up and get moved around in a way he can, and then he can't get to his block, and they did that. But that wasn't the case because the Ravens offense for the second week in a row is really close with the run game. The left side of their line is, with Ronnie Stanley back and Zeitler and their center really good, or Zeitler, both guards are good, and Powers, you start to go, ooh, wow. Their right tackle's a little bit of an issue, and Morgan Moses got hurt, and they had to wait on Skura, but Ahmed, they ran the same run play the whole game. The whole game. It was one play. Anybody go back and watch it if you got NFL Game Plus or NFL Plus or anything like that. They ran just different ways of Patrick Ricard, big number 42. You go down, we're going to block down. You come, kick the guy out on the end of the line of scrimmage so it opens up a little hole, and then one of our pulling linemen on the backside is going to come through and just look for work. Whoever shows, he's going to come and block him. And every Kenyon Drake run was the same run. And then basically ran something similar with the Lamar runs. Lamar had one scramble the whole game. All his other running yards were off quarterback design runs. So that's the silver lining for the Ravens. But the Giants, for the most part, they let up those big plays, but they made life hard scoring touchdowns, and they didn't let the pass game go off. And that was kind of the good things for them.
We got a question about the pass game coming up here, but yes, the Ravens did run for 211 yards in this game. 4 teams ran for 200 and more yards this past week in the NFL. All of them lost. Ravens, Jaguars, Saints, and Bears. I guess it's not all about just hitting that 200 mark.
Well, no, it's not.
In the NFL.
It's not. And especially if you're not going to score touchdowns off of it either. Right. I think that's maybe, another aspect of how you look at it.
Scoring is still important.
Well, and the touchdowns are important.
Yeah.
You look at their drives. What did they do? 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. The Giants put together 4 drives the whole game. They scored 3 touchdowns and kicked 1 field goal. That's it. Those 4 drives were it. That was it. But they maximize when they do move the football. And, again, they can run the ball. We talked about it. Screens, bootlegs. Their pass protection's getting better. Their offensive line is big and overpowering. So it's real that way. Danny Dimes has been rewired. Rewired to, don't throw that ball into that tight window. It's not worth it. We'll just keep playing the way we play. And if we got a punt, fine. Don't hold the ball for 12 seconds in the pocket. Look at 1, look at 2, throw it away, or start moving. And that's where Daboll has, made them such a better football team because they know who they are and how they have to play to win a football game.
Ooh, yeah. Kel Craig asked you something that you just started to answer there. What specific differences has Brian Daboll brought to the Giants offense? So he's transformed. He's rewired the robot that is Danny Dimes, made him little more conservative, play within himself.
They take no chances, right? They don't. Think about them. They don't take any chances. They really don't. Don't take chances. Danny Dimes, conservative, quick passes, get it out because they're a better run-blocking offensive line than pass-blocking offensive line at this point right now.
Do they have a good enough defense, though, for this to work long-term?
I don't know if they do. It's going to still have to be a lot of wink tricks and stuff like that. And, of course, they have a really favorable schedule.
That is true.
You look at the Giants and what they're going to do here in the next few weeks. They don't play a team that you ever look at and go, that could be a problem. The Giants, the way they're playing right now, you could sit there and look at the schedule and go, they literally, legitimately could be 9-1 in a few weeks or 8-2. Jaguars, Seahawks, Texans, Lions. So they could be going into Thanksgiving going, we're 8-2, and we're playing Jerry Jones and company.
Yeah.
But to answer the question, they run the right plays into the right looks in the running game. They pick up blitzes perfectly all the time. They're never out-coached in any area, right? And then, like we talked about, rewiring him, okay? The run game, few little screens, and then just a few wrinkles every game. You know, okay, it's Saquon Wildcat time. Let's throw a curveball. Or I got a cool play action pass here that I've game planned for them. And, you know, that's what's impressive about them right now, I guess, to answer the question.
Jihad Ward on the defensive side, you wanted to give a shout out to him?
Yeah, well, I mean, just, you know, Thibodeau with the great play at the end of the game.
Yep.
You know, Jihad Ward, what a career story. I mean, he was a defensive tackle. And then he became like big defensive end / defensive tackle. And now he's here with Wink and he's playing outside linebacker. I mean, he's got to be, I don't know how big Jihad Ward is. I'm going to say he's 280 something pounds playing outside linebacker. I'll get to it right here in a second because I got it. Okay. But I mean, 6'5", 287 outside linebacker. Right. I mean, that's like weird. I don't even know what to tell you. And then I always forget O'Shane Zimenez. Right? He's another guy that just, they got a lot of unheralded, not big names, but really good physical players on their defense.
All right, last thing. What happened on the interception with Lamar?
Okay, you want to get to that now?
We have to.
Well, what I don't know, here's the first thing. The snap, right? I don't know. I think Lamar messed up. I think Lamar thought he called a dummy snap count or something. So Lamar lifted his leg. They had somebody coming in motion to come back. Drake was coming back. And I don't know if he thought, like, I called it on the second leg, like, hey, first leg, don't snap it. Second leg, I want you to snap it. But he lifted the leg the first time, and they snapped the ball. And everybody got off the ball at the same time to make me think that was, you know, on one.
Yeah. So it wasn't a super high snap. I'm trying to
remember. The ball
remember.
was right in his right hip.
Nope.
He should have caught that easily. That's where I was shocked by. Because a little on Sunday, I kind of just like watching the game and the highlights, and, you know, we're doing so much. I kind of just thought, oh, the snap looked like it was a little off. But no, watching it back, the snap was absolutely fine. It was just he was not ready for it, and I don't know exactly how that, you know, shook out there.
And then you do what I try not to do, but I do oftentimes. You take one mistake, and then you make it into two mistakes.
Well, oh, my gosh. And then, yeah, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, on the full speed run, throwing to Patrick Ricard, who's a 290-pound fullback, like he was going to do something with it after, into a crowd of people where you couldn't have seen what really looks like around him or that. So that was a bad one by Lamar. It's the worst play of the year for him so far. And again, that's where the Giants are amazing. The Giants eat clock. They stay ahead of the chains. They barely have negative plays. They don't turn it over, and they always have a few trick plays or wrinkles every game. That was my summation of them, and that's how they keep winning these football games. And it's really like amazing and confusing and everything in between right now.
Great time to be in New York right now. We'll end with this. Our BetMGM Week 6 lines. The Giants and Jets, they're rolling right now, but they are both road underdogs against teams with 2-4 records this week.
Yeah.
So at first glance here, we got the Giants at the Jaguars. Jaguars favored by -3.
Right.
The Jets at the Broncos. The Broncos favored by 2. The over-under in both those games very low, 42 in the Jaguars and Giants game and 39.5 in the Jets-Broncos game. I wasn't that far off saying it would be a 3.5 over-under.
No.
39.5. I don't know if I've seen one that low.
Yeah, there's been a few. The Bears-Washington might have been like 38 last week.
There we go.
Right?
Okay, yeah. Very rare you get the below 40, though.
Yeah, it is. It's very rare.
Yes. Games are lower scoring this season. That is something we should talk about.
I know.
I saw some stat somewhere where it's like fantasy football stats, which is basically just all the offense. It's like the lowest scoring in 13 years.
It's pretty amazing, and maybe we'll break that down. It's hard for me to completely put my head around. I have some thoughts and things that I think are adding to that, but just probably don't have time to discuss all that. I'm not shocked to see these lines. They're not shocking to me. The Jaguars have more talent on their team than the Giants.
Yeah.
You know, Trevor Lawrence has struggled the last few weeks. They got to make some plays in the passing game. I guess that's the thing I look at the Jaguars. But I'm not shocked to see the Jaguars favored at home in this matchup. And then, the Broncos, again, like I kind of said when we were breaking down the Jets, I don't think the speed of the Jets' D-line is going to affect them as much as it did the Packers. And the Broncos' D is the real deal.
They're so good.
They're
It's
so
like
good.
They've been overshadowed.
Exactly
by
right.
How bad
By
the
the
offense
exactly
has been,
right.
and Hackett.
Exactly right.
That defense is so
They're
good.
phenomenal. So the weapons, the scheme of the Jets is not going to scare them. And yeah, I mean, if you made me look at that game, 39.5 might be too much for that one.
I agree.
I mean, that one could be 16-13, 13-10.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked by any of that, really, in either one of these.
I mean, the
football
Broncos
games.
just played the Chargers to a 19-16 game in
Right.
overtime with
Right.
even extra time. The action never stops at BetMGM. You can sign up now using the bonus code SIMS. Your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000, Chris.
So say you bet 100 on the G-men to beat the Jags. If you win, you'll get 140. But if you lose, you still get $100 worth of free bets.
Great. Simply download the BetMGM app today or go to BetMGM.com. Enter the bonus code SIMS to make your first wager risk-free up to $1,000. We've run out of time for these Do Stats Tell Truths or Lies? We'll save that for next time.
That, and I do think the offensive scoring thing, right,
Yeah.
is worth talking about.
So let's do that. Maybe next Wednesday, let's give you a break. I do know you like to look at these films anyway.
Yeah. But I
Maybe
wouldn't
we'll
mind,
only
if I don't have to deep dive everything and I can just kind of watch and sit back as a normal human being and watch it and digest it that way. That wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at you there.
Maybe we'll have you deep dive 2 games next Wednesday.
Right.
And then we'll do a bunch of this other stuff too. Because, that's a big picture thought on the offenses. I would like to get into that
Defenses
discussion.
are winning the battle, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it just
Why? Yeah, exactly. Why? We'll answer that question.
we will answer that question.
Okay.
I got some things for you there.
A tease for next Wednesday, but you're on again tomorrow.
I am on tomorrow. Me and Florio, PFTPM, Picks Pod.
Yep.
My picks have not been very good.
Don't listen to
Just
Chris.
listen to my information, okay? Listen to my information. I say a lot of good things information-wise that I probably need to listen to myself to and go, oh, wait, I explained that team should have won, but I picked the other team. What an idiot I am. So listen to my information, and that hopefully can steer you in the right direction. But, yep, we'll be there, me and Florio tomorrow. Ahmed and I back in the fold on Monday.
Yep.
And you, the man, as always. Drink that disgusting energy drink.
Almost done
You got a
with it.
long day ahead of
I
you,
know, it is
slugger.
long.
All right. Everybody, keep sending the questions. Hope you enjoyed the pod today. Check us out on Thursday on the Picks Pod. If not, enjoy the weekend of football. Week 7 in the NFL. Clap it up. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my Unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Sims Unbuttoned. Peace out.